Hello and welcome back. It's been a little bit of a while, hasn't it? So yeah, I've been busy doing lots of content stuff. I've been using Golang a lot recently, which is quite fun. But today we are doing PHP, we are doing Laravel, and we're going to be building something a little bit fun. We'll see. So, as you can see, I am testing out VS Code as my daily driver for an editor for a little bit. My PHP Storm license was coming to an end, and I was like, I should probably evaluate my IDE and see what I want to use in the future. So this week I've been testing out VS Code. So far, so good. There's a little bit of a kind of workflow that I need to figure out, but in general, pretty good. So let's just dive into some code, right? So I've got an API. Obviously, it's me. So I've got this login. I can send the request. We're good. We've logged in. We've got this fetch sanctum cookie going on here. And the reason I want to show this one, and the reason I'm going to use sanctum for this specific use case, is because I'm using Yak, which is a really cool API client. But we've got this plugin called Laravel Sanctum Cookie. And all you're going to do in your headers, where is it? Okay, so you get that. Then in your headers over here, you got this over here. And what you can do instead of doing that is you can just say cross-site request forgery token, send it, bang. This is part of the environment over here. And it'll just do everything that you need. It's fantastic. Just clean. Yeah, I really hope your cold isn't network friendly. I don't fancy getting a cold right now, if I'm honest. Better alternative to Sanctum. Well, so the point of the API I'm building today is a personal operating system, and yeah, I'm going to be using a command line, a Raycast extension, and that sort of thing to manage my tasks, take quick notes, lots of kind of little quick things. So there's not going to be a front end. There's not going to be any official client. So something like a JWT would work perfectly. But I'm going to give this a go, just to see, just to play around with. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So with that said, I think my first step is going to be, let's add a task model, right? I want to be able to create tasks. And if I come over to this over here, let me just drag it into the right window. Here we go. So I've got this over here, which is a Go CLI. And it's got everything that I need here. Personal command line, companion, blah, blah, blah. So I can say notes, tasks, stats. I'm doing a few little things with this package at the minute. And it's just your kind of, where is it? Here's my root command here. Let me just close that down. It's super simple. Yeah. But that's not what we're here for, right? We're here for PHP. So let's focus on that. Okay, so let's go ahead and make model task. We're going to add a migration and a factory. So before we get too far with that, I'm going to create some enums here. And then I'm going to create a new priority.php. Declare some strict types. And this is going to be a string. Case low, medium, high, case none. No priority, it's just a background task at that point, right? So that's kind of, that's that bit done. That's nice. Ooh, what is this? Let's quickly, what is a Passato token? It sounds like wasn't Sarters? No, I don't know. Oh, okay. That is a new one. So it's like a JWE, basically. JSON Web Encryption. Okay, that's maybe something that I could look at. We say, is there a package for this in Laravel? This is what I love about the Dia browser, by the way. Just instead of having to Google stuff or go directly to like ChatGPT or anything, you just go, bang, here we go. Oh, there is one. Maybe I'll give it a play sometime. I will give it a play sometime, I think. Okay, but before I get too distracted, stop distracting me, people. What you like? I'm terrible at this. I just go down so many rabbit holes. That's why I'm not very productive. Right, that's a static function. We're going to make this as a ULID, ID, and primary. Perfect. Obviously, table. Yeah, I'm the only one who's going to really use this, but you know, I may as well put the user ID on there just to be sure. We are going to constrain this to the users table, and we will, of course, cascade on delete. So we are going to have a table string. We're going to have a title for it. We have a table. Let's have a string. We're going to have a priority. No. Default is priority none. So by default, we'd have 0 priority. So this is a quick, I want to add this. Alongside that, we're going to say something like we have text for any content that's related to this task, but it could be nullable. It could just be, quickly add in titles and, there we go. What else could we possibly need on a task? We could add a nullable due date. Right, so when is this due? Table, why do I keep pressing W? Date title, no. Timestamp for due at, which is going to be nullable. Not all of my tasks have a specific due date. Like the way that I work at the moment is I work every quarter. I have a certain amount of content that I want to create, and I just go ahead and create that within that quarter. Once it's done, I am done for that quarter. That's the way I work, and it is fantastic. So that title, priority, due date. I think we're going to want I don't know whether we want a status or whether we just want quick, simple tasks like done. I think I might just go for a simple one like done, because that's kind of how I work. Once I've written some content or recorded some content, it is delivered. Default that to false, like so. So there's our task. It's a very simple model, right? Yes, we're building a Todoist app. I understand the irony here. This is going to extend the factory for the task. And what we'll do is we're just going to quickly import that class, that one. Go, and we're just going to grab this. Like my workflow for VS Code could definitely do with improving. I've got a couple of good extensions, thanks to Wendell. But if you can suggest anything, feel free. Completed that. Ooh. I suppose I could add that as well. That could be quite useful. Like it knows what I'm thinking. Okay, so we have got a task table. Let's stick this over this side. So Our title is likely just going to be some form of sentence. So this Baker sentence, the priority is going to be this Baker random element the array is priority pieces like so. The content, we're just going to do something like this Baker optional real text, just get some randomness in there a little bit. Completed this Baker Boolean user ID, which is going to be a user factory like so. The due at, let's just do that, completed that, complete. We are going to go, if it is complete, then we're just going to say now or null. There we go. Getting somewhere. I like that idea. I like that idea, but completing that. It's a good call. Very good call. Thank you for that one. Let's just import that class. Use as ULIDs. Protected fillable. No, that's not what I want. There we go. So, title, priority content completed, blah, 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 blah. Cool. We've got a protected function casts. Going to return an array. Priority there. Got a due at as a date time and completed that as a date time. Completed as Boolean. So that's all pretty good. Here we can add the relationship. So public function user, which belongs to, return this belongs to, related is a user class, and the foreign key is a user ID. Come over the user and the, not that one. You can go ahead and add some tasks, public function tasks. Have many. Turn this have many. Related task. Foreign key is user ID. Fantastic. That's all what I need to do there. So let's go ahead and just get some of these visible, right? So controllers, or so we're going to create some tasks in here, and we're going to go for an index controller within here. Don't know why it keeps doing that. I think that's a Laravel plugin that I use. And we'll just delete that. Declare some strict types. Perfect. And what I want to do quickly is composer require sparsely Laravel query builder. Awesome. All right, we've got that installed. That is great. So this is going to be obviously invocable. So public function invoke. We're going to get the request. We're going to return some form of response. We will return a new JSON response here. Data is going to be something. And the status is response. HTTP, okay. So this is our plan, right? So we need to be able to get the current user. So let's go and say on the constructor, this is how I like to do it anyway. You can put this on the invoke method, but I prefer to do it on the constructor. So I'm going to say private read only user like so, and then we're going to say current user like that. So we got the current user here. We can say tasks is this user tasks. So tasks, like we could do something really simple like this. Then in our routes API, we're going to create a tasks.php. Then here, I don't know why it keeps doing that. It's really bloody annoying. Declare strict type. I might have to disable some plugins on this. Okay, so we're going to have a root get for the index name index. So use app HTTP controllers tasks. So we're going to have in here tasks index controller class. Nice and simple. Inside of our routes, then down the bottom, we're going to have a root prefix tasks as tasks in a group base path, where the path is routes API tasks.php. Now, before we get too ahead of ourselves here, we do need to add middleware of auth API, no auth sanctum. Then we're going to group everything within here. We'll have a static closure, which has no return, and then we can drop stuff in like so. But to check it's all good, we'll do a quick root list, make sure we can see our tasks. Perfect. So copy, that's not what I wanted. Copy, duplicate that one, and this one we're going to rename to list all tasks. It's going to be a get request, doesn't have any body, so we can just say that. Headers, we've got that, accept that. Let's see if it works. Oh, don't know what it's doing. I think it's doing some form of mess. Let's go back and look at this sanctum cookie. Go to headers. That's it. Cool. Okay, so what we're going to do is close. We're just going to reopen that because that looks like it froze, which we don't want. We can do that. We can log in. Should be able to log in. Apparently no token on the response, but wow, something is buggy as hell there. We'll just let that crap out for a minute. So then we're going to get all of our tasks. And, obviously you can do it this way. The other way to do it is to say, you could say task query where the user ID is equal to this user ID. Get. You could do the exact same thing. I might have to just disable part of this and just go back to token because that is just ridiculous. Okay, so let's just quickly come back to here. We're going to authenticate. Then what we're going to do is we are going to say when we authenticate what we're doing, attempt. This only is Boolean. We don't need to remember on. This is basically from the Breeze stuff. We're going to return a string instead, and we're going to say this here, token equals that. Then if there's no token, do that, red limit clear, and return token. No, that's not it. Ignore that. Ignore me. Ignore me. That is what I want. Over here, what I need to do is say the token is going to be the request user create token auth token, and we're just going to have all permissions. That, and then we're just going to test doing token is token plain text token, like so. We're going to test this out. Let's see what this does. Okay, so let's close that because that's just crapping out on me, which I don't want. So let's just ignore this like that, send that. Okay, abilities need to be an array. Okay, no problemo. Okay, so a migrate fresh seed. Done. Send it. No content, apparently. There we go. We've got a token. So I can now just grab this token, come to my environment, and say that my token is that. So then list all tasks instead of that. We can come over to the auth tab and say we are going to add bearer token, and our token is going to be that. Bang. Awesome. So if we just go to our database Cedar, we can say this is our user, and we can say task factory for our user, count 10, create. Redo that, log in, update our env quickly, and then remove that, and delete that one. There we go, we got something. Okay, back to it. Right, okay, so the way that I've been doing things recently is slightly different. I don't know whether to refactor to it right now, but right now what I would do is let's make a resource, and we're going to make a user resource and a date resource. So we'll open that user resource. Actually, wait, we also need a task resource. Let's just open the task resource quickly. So we're going to have a property read of user and resource. This is going to return some form of array, which is fine. Then this bit is going to be all of the tasks. So the ID is this resource ID. We've got the title, description completed. For now, I'm just going to leave it at that. We'll probably polish that up later. So over here, what we want is a task resource collection where the resource is tasks, like so. There we go. We can say due is going to be new date resource. The resource is that. Come over to the date resource. Property read. We're going to get a carbon interface. No, interface or null. The resource. Then we can copy that. And then over here is going to be human. We can say this resource diff for humans. Obviously, got to do that. And the ISO value of that is going to be that. So let's try that again. Bang. 3 weeks from now, null, perfect, excellent. Everything's looking good. So because we are building an API, we need to be able to build out these query strings and kind of properly filter things, right? Get rid of that. There we go. So over on our index controller here, let's focus on this for a minute. So we've pulled in the Laravel sparsely package, right? So what we want to be able to do is actually use that. So to get our tasks, we want to say the query builder for the subject is going to be task class. Now we want to allow filters, allow sorts, allow includes. Then get the Eloquent builder and say where user ID is that and get sorted. Let's just kill that one off. And we will just start to build this out. So looking good. What we want to do is filter completed is false. Here we go. Completed, not allowed. So first things first. Filters. We want to add some filters. So we want to say the completed. Completed is true. So I swear there is a sparsely Laravel query builder. There's a very specific one. Yeah, APIs are so much fun, right? Okay, so filtering. We've got basic filtering, exact belongs to scope customs, allowed filter by name. Begins with strict. It's like a specific Boolean one. When filtering, you want to use exact filters. Allowed filter exact. So this here, we want to do exact uncompleted. So bang, false, that works. True, that works. Perfect. So we want to be able to filter based on whether it's completed or not. Relatively standard. sorts are going to be in there. Includes are going to be there. Then we've got the Eloquent builder. We can say the column. It's not quite as fluent as PHP Storm, is it? Value get. Now, yes, it's going to look a little bit messy for now, but we're going to refilter that. I actually do a lot of APIs with Golang at the minute. Very fun. We actually don't need the request because we're not using the request yet. So we'll come back to that. We're going to keep that. Sorting. We're going to do, let's have a look at like some allowed sorts. Sorting. So allowed sorts, disallow sorts, custom sorts, using an alias for sorting. So sorts, I can just do text. So for now, we're just going to sort by duet and completed at. I think that's that one. Then we're going to do some allowed filter of exact. We are going to say priority. We want to be able to sort by priority also, and includes, let's say we just want to include like the user for now. Pretty much all of it's going to be. Never really a case where I might need it or want it, but I'm going to add it just for the purpose of this. And let's say also where the filter priority is high. We have one that is due in 3 weeks. That is, completed is false. We've got 2 that we need to do within the next 11 months and no due date. Perfect. Sort of thing that's useful from an API, right? So ID, title, blah, 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 blah. All of that is looking good. But this is starting to get messy, right? Look at all of that. That's not Steve style code, is it? So what I'm realistically going to do at this point is I'm going to extract all of that out into a query. So I'm going to go over to here. I'm going to say queries. And what I want to do is we are going to create another folder of tasks. Within here, I'm going to say tasks for user. Implements query. So this query is going to say public function in the constructor. I am going to say I have a public read-only string PID. That is my user ID at this point, right? Then we are going to create some handlers, queries. Let's organize it like this for now. New file, get tasks for user. Like so, and we're going to have a public function handle. We're going to have a task for user as a message, and we're going to be returning something. So I can go over to here, grab all of this, and just return it. Let's import class for that. Let's just import all classes. That task, we should be looking good at that point. So that's our consistent way, which I would like to do it. Message ID, fantastic. Yep, don't care about that. So over here, what we're going to do instead is we are going to, this is something that I've been playing with recently, by the way, so bear with me. Coordinators. Over here, we are going to have a task coordinator.php. No, that is not what I wanted. Delete, yes. New file, task coordinator. There we go. So, public function construct. Yeah, I'm missing PHP Storm right now. I'm not gonna lie. Private read only application coordinator as the main coordinator, like so. So public function, we want to say tasks for user, bring user ID, like so. Return this coordinator handle. We want to handle message is going to be a new get tasks for user, where the ID is user ID. Right. Why is this complaining? Get tasks for user. Implement query. That should now be okay. So I should be called without arguments. That is incorrect. We don't have a handler. No biggie, no biggie. I did it wrong. That's a query. That's a handler. Here we go. That's coordinator. Sorted. Okay. Whoa. Oh, thanks, Ludovic. No, I just realized I'm not actually playing any background music like I like to. Let's put on some lo-fi rubbish in the background. So, not that. Bang. New task for user. That is obviously their handlers, queries. We're going to have a tasks for user class, and that is going to have get tasks for user class. This is just something that I'm playing with. So let's test it. Index controller. So up here, we are going to have a private read-only task coordinator. So what we want to do is that. And tasks is going to be this coordinator, tasks for user, the user ID is this user ID, like that. No handler register for tasks for user. Tasks for user. Let's come over to here. Let's open up the application coordinator. So locator, handler, get a handler. What's this? Let's try again. Okay. I'm trying a new approach at the minute, and I'm tripping up a little bit. Not a big deal. Let's walk through it. Let's just keep going through it because it's fun. It's different. So the purpose of this, right, is that I've got this application coordinator, and the whole point of this is to kind of any command or queries is going to be kind of passed through it. And what we do is we have these dedicated coordinators like our task coordinator, which speaks to the main coordinator up here. And what this will do is it will locate the handler. So let's go and dump here on that handler. Okay, so that's complaining already. On the container helpers. Over here, complaining about some array and is set to empty. So we've got queries. Fantastic. What is a class? Tasks for user. Perfect. If class exists, oh, actually, no, wait. If not in array, so we have got the first argument for in array is the needle, so that is going to be the class. The haystack is going to be this map type, and the third argument is true. For strictness, we are going to return null, like so. So what we're doing here is, bam, we've got null coming back from that. So we aren't seeing that load. So one thing we could possibly look at, config clear. Still not picking it up. So what class are we even looking at then? Tasks for user. Composer DB right. See if it's composer caching. No, it's not. So what we're doing is we're speaking to our locator here. What we're doing is we're saying, okay, so here's our map. Did I use this correctly? Yes. Config. That is there. That is there. That is there. Some middleware, not a problem. Okay. I hastily put some of this together before the stream for fun. So let's see if we can get this working. Okay, so the idea here is let's go to this. So what we've got is this is our main application, right? This is our Laravel app, currently our API. It works fine. Usually what happens is our request will come in. request comes in, zoom in a little, it will go through any middleware and then hit the controller, and then it will give us our response. Very standard sort of behavior. But what this controller does typically is it will go ahead and it will go, okay, so let's do something. And that something could be querying the database. But what I'm trying to do here is that this request comes in. It will obviously come to the controller. And what I'm trying to get it to do is it will go to the specific feature coordinator, which will then go through the application coordinator to perform any sort of job, and then it'll return back. So I'm just kind of, I don't really know how to explain. I've written a blog post on it. I don't think it's out yet. Not yet, no. It's not out yet. Hopefully it'll be out soon, because then it'll be easier. But my original approach was to use like a command bus style thing, and I'm trying to find a nicer way to do that. Obviously, this is not working. So I may have to go back to my original approach. Delivered, and we are looking at where was it? So I've just written so much stuff. Was it in August? No. Here we go. Application coordinator pattern. Blah, blah, blah. Your application needs a brain. Simple pattern. Register user command. Register user handler. So my application coordinator originally looked like this. So tell you what, why don't I just refactor to this? Application coordinator. You can come on an adventure with me. Just going to delete all of that crap for now. The handle gets a form of command, and we're just going to grab this for now, and we're just going to drop that in. So we're going to say read only database manager database. We can say this database transaction use message, and we can need a bus command bus. So let's just drop that in there. We can build that command bus out. Then this bus dispatch. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to return result for now. We'll add result object in a little while. So what we need is, where's my command bus gone? Lots of stuff. User coordinator, consistency, blah 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 blah. Where's my? I didn't actually do it. Okay, so I think I may have a copy of one if I just quickly cd there, go there, and then we'll just go. Where was it? Was it in Laravel 0 plus? Did I do it in there? Bus. Here we go. Coordinator bus. Here it is. This is the command bus, basically. So let me just grab that. For now, we are just going to clean this up at some point. New file. We're going to create a command bus.php. So Yeah, I just like writing things differently, just to see if there's a better way to do it, right? Container, we're going to use the Illuminate container, obviously. I need to create a request context. Do I? No, I'm not going to for this one. This is a message. And this is going to return something. This resolve coordinator. This is going to be a message. Like so. I'm going to create a quick make exception. Import that class. Fantastic. We don't need the context. Context is something that I'm working on for like some zero trust stuff. Really fun. Really, really fun. Man bus is now there. This is now the message. Dispatch the message and return the result. So in theory, we can just turn that, drop that down, and what we'll probably do is we'll just grab this. Callback is that. We're going to attempt it 3 times. So wrap it all in a database transaction and we're all good. So what happens now? Bang! Argument 1 must be okay, cool. So app service provider, where we are getting this application coordinator, what we actually want to do is drop that for now. Say new application. Actually, we don't even want to do that. We just want to go nope, like that, I think. Unresolved string ID in tasks for user. Okay, so resolve coordinator, blah, blah, blah. Unresolved primitive, coming back, combining resolution, container. That's not what I want. That's not what I want. Where am I? Here we go. This is what I want. Okay, for now, I'm just going to simplify, remove database stuff because I don't need it yet. In theory, I don't need a middleware either, or those, or that. Let's do a new composer duo. This is how I build, right? I like the action pattern, but it's, yeah, I'm trying to find a nicer way to do it. Syntax error. There we go. Unresolvable dependency. Okay, so let's go ahead and go. Okay, so our app service provider isn't useful for us this second, but our coordinators, we've got a task coordinator. So this bit here, we should be able to say that. Yes. So we're going to go to our coordinator, ask it to handle this message. We're going to dispatch that message through the bus. And the command bus is going to resolve coordinator. Let's make sure we get here. Yes, we do. So instead of test, what we're going to say is message. Yes, we have got a task for user and we're passing through the ULID. Can we get the coordinator class? Task for user, yes, we can. If the class doesn't exist, we're going to say no coordinator found. Right? Got that there now. So, yep, that's cool. So what we want to do is basically say, okay, there is a coordinator class here. We want to, instead of making it, why don't we just say new coordinator class handle like that. too few arguments for the constructor. So let's open up that task for user. Resolve coordinator. Okay, command query replace. That isn't what I want to do. That is not what I want to do. Where was it? Where was it? We're doing something different. I can't remember which article it was in. God damn it. Zero trust, was it within here? It could be within here. Enums, roles. You're getting a sneak peek at some of the content that's coming to the Savala blog at the minute. JWT stuff, some users, JSON response for class, success, error, created, no content, register, login, lots of stuff going on. Zero trust, here's a context here. Identity, middleware stuff. No biggie, no biggies. Token invocation. Did I do it in this article? Where was it? Where was it? Can I do like a wild search? Yes, I can. Command bus. Okay, now I cannot see where I put it. Not resolves the coordinator. Instead, what we want to do is the coordinator class is going to be app. Let's do like a. Well, we do have a container. Cool. This container make the abstract that we are trying to make is. Let's just do a quick sprintf, and it's going to be some form of handler, right? So we're going to get that message handler like that. Don't need get class anymore because we can actually, I believe we can just do that now, which means we can update this one too. I get the string value. So what I can do is in my handlers, task for user, I can just rename this handler like so, like so. Yeah, just welcome to my mind. This is what I do. Target class, target for user handler does not exist, apparently. Okay, so task for user handler. I want to get the base, so get is it base class? Base name. Is that going to do it? Like app query stuff. Okay, so I need to. Class base name, maybe. There's got to be a nice way to fetch that, right? Only way I can think to clean this up a little bit is to go and put this here in handlers and then use this in there. But then we're losing part of what I'm trying to do. So I'll try and get this working by default. Task for user there. No problemo. Task coordinator. And we've got queries there. For now, we'll just do it like this. Just match this, and we have a string with type as commands type. Awesome. The command bus doesn't actually need that. Okay. So that's going to do that. But then what I want to do is app handlers, something handler. Is the type even needed? Handler is currently not needed. Type, sorry. I can drop that type. Drop that. And hope for the best. Hey, array to string conversion. Command bus on line 18. That class exists, class must be of type string, app handlers, blah 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 given. Cool. No coordinator found. Let's wait a minute. Do that. Can't use on a string. Here we go. We got there. Oh, yeah, but it's always. I've got a good group of supporters. Okay, so this handler is there. Coordinator class, coordinator handle. Cool. So that means that our handlers like this is going to return electron. Bang! Our handler, our whole coordinator approach is now working. So we got there, right? Yeah, I mean, the manual process is so much fun. Like, I've got 110 hours. I don't even know what they're for. Like, that's nothing to do with me. Lots of these aren't anything to do with me. So that's going to ignore, right? Sounds like a core problem, not a me problem right there. Okay, so what we've got going on is our request will come in to the request, into the app. It'll go through routing, hit the controller. The controller will then go, okay, so use the task coordinator which you've injected and say, okay, so perform this method. It's a little bit like, I suppose it's a little bit like event sourcing. So what you're doing is saying, okay, aggregate, do this, and then it just does what it needs to do. But what we do in our coordinator is, it's saying, okay, parent coordinator, handle this for me. Bam. And what you can do is you can, like, for writing operations, you can just defer that. So it's like using a job, but you're not using a job at the same time. It's something that I'm playing with. And the what I modeled it off of is like the human brain, basically. So let's say that this task for a user, this is you saying, I don't know, you've got an itchy head. This is what you want to do. You want to itch your head, for example. What it will do is, your brain will tell your arm to itch your head. And the idea is that this task coordinator is your arm, the application coordinator is the brain, and then this task for user is what it wants you to do. And obviously the handler is how it's going to do it. It's going to say, okay, so move your arm, move your fingers, job done. It's similar sort of thing. It's what I kind of modeled it off of. I was like, okay, so what could I do if I wanted to approach like the architecture a little bit differently for my application? What would it look like if I modeled it on the human brain, basically? And this is what it came out of. You're just saying, you're delegating things around the place. And you could, in theory, completely simplify this by just using the action pattern. No doubt about it. But this is interesting. And what I've also done in the past is like I've created a result object. So what this will do is declare strict types, and in the public construct here, what you can do here is say, okay, so private read-only mixed value, and then private read-only null throwable exception. We're going to default that to null though. Like so. Then we have a public static function success. We get that mixed value like so, and then we're going to have this fail. This is actually going to get a throwable exception, and what we're going to do is this say that the value is actually null, but the exception is the exception. And then we can say public function unwrap. Let's just see what Copilot does. Here we go. If exception is null, then say the exception, and just do it that way. So I'm pretty sure it's in the command bus down here, and you just go, okay, so handle this. So instead of returning mixed, what I'm doing is I'm going to say, okay, so try and do this. The result is that. And what we're going to do, we're going to catch any potential throwable results as an exception. And we're going to return a result fail using E. And then over here is that. Then we can just say that we're actually just going to return a result at that point. And yeah, result first. Where the bugger is that coming from? Okay, so then on our task coordinator, it's handle. We know we're going to get this. This dispatch is going to return a result, and then we're going to unwrap it. There we go. So it'll automatically kind of unwrap itself, and it's yeah. a work in progress, people. It is a work in progress. Okay, so next up, let's say that I wanted to create a task, regular sort of thing. So let's make a request, tasks, store request. I'm going to open up that store request here. Let's just delete all that now. Right, so we're going to have a title. There is a rule. Which one is it? Illuminate validation rule, enum. And we're going to have a priority. Nullable date, due at, description. Pretty sure that was content. Yes. There we go. Let's go ahead and create this now. So we can say a store controller.php here. Oh dear. Delete all that rubbish. So that is not how I write Laravel. Mind you, the way that I write Laravel is constantly changing. So we're going to invoke this. We're going to have that store request, and we're going to return some form of response. So how is this going to work? Well, to start with, we need our constructor. We're going to have a private read-only task coordinator as a coordinator. There we go, spelled it wrong. But then we also want the private read-only currently logged in user. So we're going to have all of these things going on. On this task coordinator, what we're going to want to do is a public function create task for user. Now this is where you're probably going to want to create a data object of some description. Let's rename that data objects. Within here, we're going to create a new task. So public function construct what goes into a new task. Well, we have a public string for the title. I'll make it read-only because it's immutable. Read-only string title. Awesome. Public read-only string null for the content. Like that. I'm going to want some priority. So public read-only priority. Nice. We're going to have some sort of duet. So public read-only govern interface null duet that. Yeah, so I'm testing PHP through VS Code at the minute, just to see. We've got our new task as our payload, and then we're going to have a string for that user ID. All right, so now over here, what we want on our store request, we have a public function payload. Is going to return a new task, return a new task, where the title is this string, title to string, priority is going to be priority Don't know what that's doing there. Oh, this is looking messy. Content. Duat. I'm just going to do that for now. Okay, so string, content to string. When filled, that's a new one for me, when filled. I'm going to perform this callback. And what we're going to do is we're going to say carbon pass, I think it's time. Say this spring due at to spring, like so. Due at, blah, 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 blah. And you get the string for that to string. Just string take, yeah, it does take a default. So we can say like a priority non value like that. So let's see if the payload works. So when we're trying to store it, let's just do a quick dime dump on that request payload. See what it does. So let's just duplicate that one. And we're going to do a post request to tasks, currently not working. So in our routes API tasks, we can do a route post there. We're going to do a tasks store controller plus, and the name is going to be store. This is what I love about Laravel. Things just sometimes just really nicely work. Like title field is required. Awesome. So we want to add that content type of application JSON, add a JSON body, title. This is a task. Bang. Duat must be of a type carbon interface. Store request given on store request line 25. Okie dokie dokie. Okay, so we want to pass Duat. Key callback. Default is null. If I just do a quick get of Duat. New task construct. Duat must be of type null or carbon interface. And I'm doing a carbon pass. It extends base carbon, which implements carbon. Okay, so that's all fine. I might have to do a this as due at. If it does, then for now. There we go. This string to string. There we go. We're getting somewhere. Well, how do you make JSON return? How do you make an API? How to make an API always return JSON for all errors and response from that API? How would you make it? Okay, so good question. Easiest way, accept application JSON. That way, whenever there's an error, your API is going to return it as JSON. Obviously, I'm DDing here, so it's kind of breaking out of that loop. But yeah, that is the best way to do it. Is just make sure you set the header, because Laravel will detect that for you. So, right, I've got this. I can then say this coordinator, create task for user. The payload is going to be the request payload. And the user ID is going to be this user ID. Return a new JSON response here where the data is null and the status is response HTTP accepted, like so. So what I typically do here is actually I would defer this. It's not been pulled in yet. Defer. There we go. Callback is going to be that. Format that for me. There we go. So what it's going to do is it's going to create task for user, do all of that, and then obviously we are going to do that. So we can say this coordinator, we want to dispatch a specific message, and the new message is going to be create task for user. We can pass through that payload and the user ID. So we can go over to here and we can say not a query, instead we're going to have a command. So it's very CQRS-ish, isn't it, right? Implements command, public function, construct, public read-only, new task, payload, and public read-only string and user ID. So create task for user. So then in our handlers, like so. And then all we need to do is have that handle method. So public function handle, create task for user as a message. And what this will do then is go, okay, so task query create. So we will have that don't need the value, content, duat, user ID, done. That's it. That doesn't need to return anything, so that can be void. Create task for user sorted. Create task for user. That's going to go in there. Dispatch, application coordinator, dispatch with a handle. There we go. So what I could probably do at this point is just quickly come here and a tinker app models task count 10. So if we just quickly locate that to count, bang, count, we have 1. Perfect. Currently returning an empty response. Yeah, I could possibly change that a little bit and say, okay, so let's return a message of task will be created shortly. There we go. Task will be created shortly. So that's going to be created in the background. So now if I come back over to here and do another count, we should have 2. So first, perfect. So then come over to list all tasks. It's not working. Oh wait, it's because I'm. There we go. Completed false, completed false. Task resource. I also want to show the priority. So this resource priority. There we go. No priority, no priority. Awesome. So it's nice and simple, right? I say simple. There's a few steps to it, and it's not for everyone. It's very CQRS style, but when it comes to testing, I can test so much of this in isolation. My business logic, when it comes to like my feature tests, all I got to do here is say, okay, so test I get a response, and test that response is shaped like this. I don't have to test this, really. I can test that in coordinator tests and go, okay, so I want to test my task coordinator. When I do this, what happens? Okay, so when I can create this, no problems, but in my handler, does this give me what I think it gives me? If I do this, will there be a new task in the database? I can really break down unit and feature tests and swap things out, and just it's nicely scalable. It is excessive. Don't get me wrong, it is 100% excessive, but it's also fun, right? Let's go now integrations. I am going to create a gist file here. Packagist here, and we're just going to create a new client like so. This is the next thing I wanted to do, really. Okay, so public function construct private read only. We are going to have a pending request passed through to this. So what I'm doing next is packagist API. I don't want to create a package. What I want to do is like getting package data, basically. So I need that. So in my app service provider for now, I'm going to say, okay, this app single abstract, when someone asks for this specific client, we are going to give them obviously a client, but a client where the request uses that HTTP facade and uses that base URL of URL that. And we're going to set the time out by default to in seconds to 30 with user agent, and user agent is going to be just Steve King OS 1.0. Simple, right? Okay, so to do this now, I want to make a command just to test it. So make a command and we're going to say packagist fetch packages. I'm going to open up that fetch packages. This is going to be as command. No. As command, where the name is packagist fetch. Description is going to be fetch packages from packagist. Aliases is going to be pf, which means I can delete all of that. This is how I like to do my commands. Obviously, this is going to return an int. And success, fantastic. And inside here, I'm going to inject the packagist client. So that is what I want to do. Fetch packages for vendor. And the vendor is going to be me, obviously. So if I come to my client, what I want to do is a public function fetch packages. Here we go. So what I want is listing package names. I believe this is it. Package list vendor. Packagist org packages. So there we go. This is what I want. Okay, so let's just use this for now. So I'm going to need to come back to this and say, okay, I don't actually want a base URL. What we want to do in this client is this request get, this is going to be the list of packages, and we are going to want to go to there. Vendor and field abandoned, no type. Let's do that. And for now, we're going to die and dump on that response. So inside my terminal, now what I can do is I want to do packagist fetch. So I got a nice list, type and repository. So what I can do is fields are repository, type and abandoned. I'm not too bothered about that. So in my client, what I will do is list packages for a specific vendor. Repository, I could keep. Type, I should also keep, actually. That's somewhat useful. Got a URL there, but get also accepts a query, so I could probably just clean this up a little bit. I could say fields type and field repository. It's going to complain about that. I don't know. Keep it like that. No. Hey. Right, okay, so I've hit that. Let's drop that. That's overriding it. So here we go. We've got a big old list of the repositories that I have got on Packagist. Yes, I do too bloody much. Okay, that is cool. Let's, where's the end of it? Here we go. Packages. Get all of the packages, basically. So that is then going to return all of that. So in my thing here, I can do a I'll probably collect that instead, right? Collect based on that key. That's going to return a collection. So once I've got a collection of packages, what I could probably do is do a quick info from Laravel prompts and say found packages. Found 40 packages. I think that's probably, is there like a, and per page is 100, maybe? No, it doesn't do pagination apparently. So let me just grab this. We're going to take it to the browser. I'm going to do this. Where it's a vendor, I'm going to replace it with that. I'm going to pretty print it. Can we then say and page is 2? See? No, so it doesn't seem to be paginating, which is interesting. Package list vendor. Maybe I'll use that one instead. This is probably a little bit easier. Like that. So would I use Laravel 0 for a CLI tool project or not? No, maybe. If you've got PHP on the box, yeah, definitely. Why not? You've got PHP, you're used to it. But I use Golang for all of my CLI stuff. That isn't within an application, if I'm honest. Okay, so package names. There we go. That's what I need. 40. Apparently, I've only done 40 packages. I must have only done 40. I didn't realize I did so little. Oh, my wife's brought my lunch. Thank you. That looks really healthy. Thank you. Oh, that is a sign for me to go do some eating. But I should do that in a second. Right. So what we've got is we're going to get all packages and just return them. And then what we want to do is public function is, there is another additional data, no, list packages, no, searching, where is it? It's getting package data, and then there's getting package download stats. So I can do package and stats. So fetch package details, package name. Yeah, that should be fine. That is that. Yes. And then we're going to have a public function fetch package stats. Package name, stats. That's going to return JSON. That's going to return that. That's fantastic. Okay, so next up, once we've got all of the packages, what we want to do is and Anna, we're going to call this published. We have packages as a new collection. Published. I want to map over each one There we go. And within there, what I want to do is details. I want to say client fetch package details. The package name is the package. And then packages. Okay, I want that and packages details. Did push? What is that? There we go. That's what was going wrong. Okay, so I think what I could probably do is do something like a task or spin callback function, use client and packages message fetching package details. Is that right? Okay, let's put that there. We also need to pull in published. Oh, so much to do. There you go. Right. Right. Fetching package details. It's going to go through that now and do all of the stuff it needs to do. And then what we want it to do, once that's done, published, it's package stats. Okay, that's not what I want to do. I want to do something else, but yeah, you get the idea, right? I'm going to start integrating with packages to start building up like a list of packages to get an updated kind of stats and details about packages that I maintain. That's under my vendor prefix, blah, blah, blah. And all of this is going to be ran from my command line, so I can quickly go, okay, add a task, you know, how many downloads does this package have, check my stats on this, do that. A personal OS for someone who creates content, basically. But I'm going to call it a day there before the food my wonderful wife made me goes cold, because I'm a hungry man right now, very hungry. But that was a lot of fun. A lot of debugging and a lot of fun. It's how we like to do things around here. So thank you again for tuning in. Stay awesome. And remember, if you like my content, make sure to give it a like. Subscribe to the channel. I've actually just enabled monetization as well. So if you want to become a member, you can become a member. If people become members, I'll start looking at doing member-only streams. Yeah. Thank you for being awesome. Thank you for tuning in. And as usual, thank you to my sponsor of the podcast of my channel, which is Savala. You can visit them at juststeveking.link/host. Is where I host all of my stuff. They do some really cool hosting options with Google Cloud Platform and Cloudflare. Super simple kind of platform as a service. Check your stuff up there. I've got loads of static sites up there. I put all of my Laravel APIs and Golang APIs up there. It's really, really simple to deploy. Go give it a go. You get $50 for free. So try them out. Let me know what you think. If you got any feedback on them, let me know. I'm always happy to kind of pass that along and talk to them and work with them to kind of help. But yeah, stay awesome. I'm going to go eat my lunch. And what am I doing today? I think I'm going to write some more Golang or maybe even some TypeScript for fun. But stay awesome. Catch you next time. See ya.